Yeah, I was laughing coming in here. I've shed a lot of sweat, blood, and tears on this field, and it's cool to kind of be on the other side and just come back and see a lot of these upcoming youth and these upcoming teens and all the leadership and the potential here in this building. So it's cool to call these kids out for that and be able to speak a little life into them today.
What's it mean for you to be able to come home and you'll get to do things like this, and from a guy who has been in this position before and been in these kids' shoes?
Well, I think it's really important. My story is far from perfect. I've had a lot of disappointment and heartache, and so I think a lot of the kids probably in the crowd today can relate with that. A lot of kids going through stuff, home situation, maybe a relationship gone bad, maybe an injury in a sport, and so I think just to recognize that life's hard and we need leaders like you to step up and make a difference in people's lives is really important. So I'm thankful, that the World Baseball Academy would have me, and think that I had enough important stuff to say to feature me today. So.
How important is it to you to connect with these kids again, because you've been kind of in their shoes, and to be able to give them the inspiration to not quit when the hard times come?
Yeah. It was a short few years ago when I was literally sitting in those seats, and I wish we would have had an event like this. I'm really thankful for Caleb Kimmel and them putting it on because we didn't have something like this when I was in high school. But I think for these kids to recognize somebody who maybe they can look up to and learn from. I always think it's better to learn from people's mistakes instead of making the mistakes yourself. And so hopefully they can take a few things away from my story today and leave here encouraged and inspired and better leaders.
I was going to say, what is your message to the kids today? What do you tell them when you get your opportunity to talk with other kids?
Yeah, I think my main 2 points, I'm going to talk a little bit about my story, but I think my main 2 points that I think are really important for these kids to hear is that the world needs you. The world doesn't need you to pretend to be somebody else. The world needs exactly who you are. The world needs Drue to be Drue, and the world needs you to be you. And then the second point is just inconvenience yourself for the convenience of others. And I think that idea of going out of the way to help others, even if it's an inconvenience to you, has been something that the best leaders in my life have taught me. Something that I struggle to live out sometimes when I'm just going, trying to be the best NFL linebacker I can be. But the people who have made the biggest impact on my life have always been people that just go out of their way to make sure that I can be the best version of myself. And so if these kids can do that in the hallways of their school, we got over 19 schools here represented. If these kids can do that in the hallways of their schools, I think we could see just a revival of leadership here in Fort Wayne.
A couple of football questions for you. Obviously, you got to you're just coming off your third season in the NFL. Fresh season back from injury. Just how you feeling? How's everything feeling as you get ready for another off season here?
Well, I'm feeling really good. I feel really good that we have a great quarterback, a great coach, a lot of really good players, got the staff. My body feels good, and so I'm really excited. Disappointing end of the season, obviously. We wanted to beat Vegas. We thought we could beat Vegas. Felt multiple times in that game like we could have pulled away. And so those are the types of things that fuel you for the next year, and we're super optimistic. And I think we've got somewhere between 7 and 11 draft picks, free agency here coming up. And so we've got a great general manager, head coach, and staff that are going to do a good job of filling those holes. And got a lot of guys that are free agents this year, so wishing them the best of luck. But overall, I feel great and really excited about what's to come there in LA.
Health-wise, everything good with you?
Yeah, I feel really good.
Heading into your fourth off season here, just kind of what's your focus as you get ready for year number 4 in the NFL?
I think it's taking care of the body and taking care of the mind. Once you get to the NFL, it's so much less about the physical side of things and so much more the mental side of things. And when you can separate mentally and develop that resiliency that we're going to be talking about here today, and that ability to, even within the framework of a game, have maybe a play that doesn't go your way, but to be able to bounce back. If I can keep getting better at that, I think I'm going to put myself in a better position to be the best linebacker I can be.
I was going to say, you made impacts all across the field this last year, obviously, from special teams to getting to play a lot on defense too. Just how do you kind of expect to see your role grow here coming into this year, and what are you kind of working on to see your role grow?
Yeah. It was kind of my story at Notre Dame too. Is I made my way on special teams, wasn't necessarily the most sought after guy, but that was kind of a chip, on my shoulder in the first place. I believed that I could be a starter in the league, and I kind of evolved and have earned that position now to start in the NFL, and it's an honor, and I just want to keep growing. I want to be an all-pro. I want to be a Pro Bowler. I believe I'm one of the best linebackers in this league, and so the goal is to stay healthy and be on the field and be available for my team to be able to show that on a week-to-week basis, and I look forward to doing that this next season.
You kind of touched on it a little bit too, but how much optimism is there surrounding this team heading into this offseason? Obviously with a franchise quarterback and just all the pieces that you guys have and have coming back.
Well, I think the biggest difference that I'm seeing this year compared to a year or two ago is the player leadership. And when the ship is driven by the players and not the coaches, you got a chance. And we certainly have, obviously, like you said, a franchise quarterback who is a great leader in and of himself. And we've got a lot of great leaders and players around him. And so a lot of optimism, you could say.